to Living with Moxie, where Shafali Burns and Donna Martouche, authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world of business, education, and coaching, share ideas, resources, and strategies from the hosts and their guests to provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. Join us for unique insights from outstanding achievers in business, relationships, health, finances, and living as they share strategies, wisdom, and lessons learned on the path to extraordinary living. Are you ready to live with Moxie?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. We are so happy to have you. This week we have the incredible, amazing Cass Thomas with us. And Cass, can you hear me? Are you on the line?
I can indeed hear you, and I'm on the line.
Wonderful. So this is Donna Martouche, and we are here today on Living with Moxie, and we are going to be talking with Cass Thomas about miracles and magic and things that we can create in life. Shafali should be on in a little while. I'm not sure she's going to be able to connect, but we're hoping she's going to be able to join us. Cass, so you've written a book since the last time we talked. I'm going to just talk a little bit and introduce you. I met Cass Thomas.
Cool.
I think I met you I met you way before Costa Rica. I think the first time I met you was in Rome, in Italy, and you were doing translating. And we were both at the time access consciousness facilitators. And this woman, let me just tell you the energy about her. So she just, meeting her for the first time, I remember now actually, was Rome, was facilitators. And I watched you have to translate this incredible information from English into Italian, as well as, also help other people with translations and get them connected to translators. But the way that you communicate is very different than the way I've seen other people communicate. You have a way to express things that energetically I think people could receive, even if there was no language involved. I don't know how else to describe it. And it's in a way that people often feel lighter, and they're able to receive it and understand it. And it's just something about the way that you do it. Now, that's not a surprise to me, because I saw that I believe your first book that came out, right, was 7 Steps to Communication. Is that it, Cass?
Yeah, it's a flawless communication. Yeah.
Flawless, exactly. And that's exactly what you do. So tell us a little bit about magic and miracles and flawless communication.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, the way you said it, which it's so funny when you can see something in someone else, it's really, I get, because you have it and you're able to do it, and you just did it. With the words, communicated something, and usually people who do that, like you just did, always say afterwards, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to put this in words. I don't know how else to say it. And you just say it brilliantly. Yeah, it's so funny because the magic of us, let's say, is often what we have been accused of being too much of, or somehow the key to what our magic is hidden in what we've been accused of not being enough of. And so I haven't really put it that way before, but you saying what you said actually brings that out for me, because a lot of times when I communicate, and have communicated in the past, it may be halting. I'm not just blah, 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 because I'm actually, it's almost like a slot machine, looking for the words that represent the energy of what it is I want to communicate. So, you get accused, or just people comment, your conversation, maybe your sentence doesn't flow. You sometimes stop and you think a lot, and it's like, well, they think you're thinking, but you're actually matching the energy with what people can receive and what it is you'd like to communicate, and everything else that's going on in the room. So the magic of us, we've been often trying to diminish to accommodate what other people have familiarity with hearing, right? Which may not be the truth of us, and which may not actually represent in the best way what it is you want to communicate. So
So
Anyway,
I think that I
blah,
think you
blah,
just
blah,
said
blah,
that.
blah.
No, I know. Well, because you. So you just said some things and some questions came up, and I totally. First, I want to just say Shefali has joined us. She's on the line. So Shefali, so happy to have you here. Sending you hugs. Can you hear us,
Oh, hello
Hi,
Shefali?
everyone. Thank
Shefali.
you. Hi, Cass. So glad to have you here
Hi,
with us.
beautiful. I'm glad to be here with you wherever we are. And are you in Europe
I am. Yes,
or
I'm in
Canada?
Vienna. Yep.
You're
So
in
I'm so glad to
Vienna.
be here with both of you. I didn't think I was gonna make it, so it's like, yay. It's been one of those interesting days, right? And so how can we together create magic and miracles? And so, one of the things I was thinking about right, before we got on today was it's like, wow, this is such an interesting time, and talking with Cass is going to be so special because when we are with you, Cass, it seems like there's magic and miracles happening all the time. The energy of you and the way that you function is so powerful that it just makes everything somehow work out. So it's like I'm here, and that's magical in itself. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I just feel like crying when you say that because it's so
Aw.
exciting. It's a real exciting time to be alive. And when it just seems like it's so funny what we think or what I thought or what was magic and potency, and it just shows up very differently. And it's just what it really is about is your willingness to play with others, and you guys have that. So that's why I say I feel like crying because it's like, how do we all get so lucky, to be with people who actually want to step in and step up and play. You know what I mean? So that's all very exciting. Yeah. And
So
yeah,
I
I'm in the
want to be able, I
beautiful
want
state of
Shefali to be able
Colorado.
to. Is that where you are now?
Gotcha.
You're in the States? Yes.
I'm the beautiful
Um,
state of Colorado. You can't imagine the beautiful people that are around me. I'm just wow.
Oh, I can. I definitely can.
yeah, I definitely can too.
I'm
I'm so
totally
glad.
jealous. I wish I was there with you right now, Cass.
Beam you up, Scotty. Come
I
on.
know.
Yeah.
So I just, in a minute, Shefali has this great, amazing introduction, and I didn't really introduce you, Cass. I just wanted, before we go to Shefali doing that, I just want to say one more thing about your communication. What comes to mind as people hear you or myself or whoever say it, but you just said something that hit a little, I don't want to say bump, it hit something for me. With people sort of saying, well, what does it mean when you say you look for the energy so that you know what to say or what matches it? And it reminds me of a time, like growing up, you know which person to ask a question to when you walk into your home because there's an energy about it. Like no one has to speak. No one has to know if someone's in a good mood or a bad mood, or if it's mom or if it's dad, or, in the context of a conversation, you all know, whether you think you do or you're not, what the right words are when you're speaking with a specific person at a specific moment. So that you can kind of match it. I think people do some of this without even realizing that they do it. And
Right. That's so funny. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, and so I just wanted to give people who are listening some sort of real life experience that they may be able to connect to so they can sort of get an idea of what it means to say, I'm looking around to match the energy. And when you do it, Cass, you do communication in an inviting way. Even I've seen you do it in a way that is, something that people would not normally feel comfortable with. I mean, being at facilitators, there's been times that I've watched you have to say things to people that are almost parental in nature, sort of like, you want to pick up the coffee off the floor before we, we don't want coffee stains. This is a beautiful, but whatever those things are that you might have to say that, is not even joyful to have to share at times, you do in a way that people want to look and still engage in conversation. So can you tell us a little bit about what makes, we're going to talk about awakening magic and miracles, and I know you have that whole entire thing. And when you're doing that, at some point, can you include in there how you've come to this spot where you can actually be inviting people to connect with communication with you and ask for more and be that invitation into possibilities, really?
Yeah. I just want to compliment you on remembering what you were going to ask. Like while we went through that whole thing. I was like, did she write that down? How did she not lose that question? First, and thank you for pointing that out, because it's a lot of times I've been, working with the tools of Access Consciousness for over 10 years, and it's so exciting because the first woman to run my bar is actually here in Colorado with us. So I'm really excited to have her here, Karen Jones, working with us. But just today, I'll give you an example of today, matching the energy, what I was talking about, because we had a lovely lunch, Elegance and Creation lunch with my friend Heather. And lots of people were there, and someone, had got the misinformation, so everyone's fine. And she starts talking to one of the hosts of the lunch, and a bit complaining a little bit, about, well, I don't know, I didn't get the right information, and I didn't know, and the time, and et cetera. And while the conversation, the host who was talking to her was very jovial and laughing, and she recognized that was not the energy that this woman required at that moment. The energy that the woman required was bringing it down a notch, having a soothing voice, being apologetic, and creating a different space so the woman would know, I'm actually listening to you, I'm not laughing at you at all, and right. I'm sorry you had to go through that. So that's a little bit as opposed to, hey, don't worry, come on and join the party. No, she didn't need that. She required something else. So that's just, I hope that's clear how you match the energy. Okay, what is required here to create more, to move us forward, to not have us stuck in a back and forth, and lots of relationship stuff works so much better when you're willing. Your target is actually to move forward, not to be right, not to have the last word, but to actually move you forward. And that's a bit what I speak about in the 7 Steps to Flawless Communication. And the miracle happens when you're comfortable enough with yourself in this world. And does that mean pompous? Does that mean cocky? Does that mean, I forgot the other word, self-assured or arrogant or whatever that is? It's you are perfect.
Okay, so
you're perfectly you.
I have to interrupt
no one else in the whole world.
Wait, hang on. We're going to break. I apologize. I should have given you the warning there, Cass. Everyone, while we're on break, think about where you'd love to improve your communication and have some awakening of magic yourself, and we'll see you right after these messages. Thank you so much.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Spiritual, metaphysical, green living, psychic, alternative healing, life coaching. Do any of these or similar terms apply to your business or cause? If so, you are in a niche market with a very specific audience. Conscious Gate PR is the world's leading conscious public relations agency. With a global reach of over 4 million and growing, we offer comprehensive media campaigns to our targeted market. Learn more at ConsciousGatePR.com. Conscious marketing for conscious minds.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
I left my heart in San Francisco.
Hi, this is Tony Bennett, and I'm a volunteer for LifeBeat. The music industry fights AIDS.
We all know that there are some new medications for people with AIDS, but there is still no cure. This is why I personally volunteer for LifeBeat. The AIDS crisis is not over, and people need help. Volunteer for your local AIDS organization. They need you.
Hello, everyone. We are back on Living with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio, and we have our special guest, Cass Thomas, here with us. And it's so funny how the breaks just come out of nowhere. It seems when we're chatting and having a wonderful time, but we do have breaks every 15 minutes, so we will try and catch it a little bit earlier next time, because sometimes we just get so caught up in the conversation that, well, we forget. So Cass, I'm just so glad that you're here with us. And I missed the first, 2 minutes of this show. So I'm not sure if Donna had a chance to really introduce who you are to our audience. So I thought I would take a moment just to talk a little bit about you and who you are. So for our listeners, so in case you don't know who Cass Thomas is, she is an author, she's a coach, she's an inspirational speaker and facilitator at Access Consciousness. She was born in the U.S. and she moved to Rome almost 20 years ago. How exciting and magical is that? And Cass has been a successful business owner and film producer. And when she's not traveling the world facilitating classes, you might find her entertaining guests in her boutique bed and breakfast in Rome. Cass is also touring the world right now with her new book, 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, 7 easy steps that invite people to change their life dynamically by communicating more effectively with their bodies, in their lives, and in their business. And Cass loves to ask questions, and several of her favorite questions are, how can this turn out better than I could ever imagine? And what or who can I add to my life today that will make it even more delicious? And her motto is, there's so much more that unites us than separates us. Cass is a dynamic innovator who speaks 4 languages and invites her audiences to use language skills they didn't even know they had to engage the contribution of every molecule in the universe. And the results are peace of mind, well-being, abundant living, and delightful presence. How does it get any better and more delicious than that? And so today we're talking about how to awaken to magic and miracles. And, magic and miracles are, I think, something that are around Cass all the time. I recently had the pleasure of having Cass on my other show, Awaken to Happiness Now. It feels like just a month ago, but it must have been a little bit more than that. And we had a blast. It was truly a magical evening and so much fun. So I'm just so glad that Cass is here with us today so that she can share her beingness with all of you, how she communicates with all of you and with the universe, and how truly magical it can be for all of us to experience. So Cass, like I said, I'm so glad you're here, and we're hoping to take some live caller questions today. I'm working on that as well, so that's really exciting because we've never done that before either. So that's magical, isn't it?
Wow.
That is magical.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Awesome. That's magic. There you go. Because I was trying to play with my phone on my U.S. phone. What I was saying before the break, and I'm sorry that I'm a gabber. I'm a gabber. I'm sorry that I talked over the break time, but I don't think it was a big deal. But anyway, maybe
no,
they'll yell at you.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
That's because you guys are delightful and delicious. What I was going to say was I spent so much of my life really trying to make people happy. I grew up in Boston, and it rains like 30% of the time in Boston. Did you know that?
No.
Wow, no.
I didn't know that either until I moved to Italy, and my father-in-law told me that, and I was like, really? I looked it up, and it's true. But sometimes when it's gloomy out, people have gloomy dispositions, and I never really had that, and I realized growing up how much of my energy went into trying to bring out the sunshine for people and be the sunshine for people. And when you're trying to be something else for other people, there's a constant sort of state of judgment. that you're in, whether or not you're shining bright enough for them. And you measure that by how happy they are or not are in the end. And so there's so many of us that do that try to live our lives or be something for other people. And part of the magic for me and the miracles is if you're willing to be that for yourself, if you're willing to really be the happiness that you're trying to give to someone else, or the kindness. So many people are so kind to other people, and yet they treat themselves like poo-poo. They really do. They don't take care of their bodies. They don't gift to themselves. They don't honor themselves. They put themselves in environments, work situations, relationships that are, vibrationally abusive, toxic. Thank you, toxic. And so when you're willing to be kind, yeah, you would go. See what I mean? You do that very well, darling. Very good, darling. So to me, that's one of the first things, like just to connect with you. What is it that's vital for you? What is it that is the environment that actually brings you joy, that allows you to be relaxed enough to let who you are come out, and that's without judging it. Because before we were going to break, I was going to say that you are perfectly you. There is no one on the planet that does you better than you, right? I mean, so there with that start, then there is a level of vulnerability. Like you're like, yeah, oh wow, I tripped. Nobody can trip as well as I can. You know what I mean? Nobody can make that kind of blooper like I can, and also nobody can have anything like you do because you're uniquely you. So how could you possibly try to be someone else? So a little in the book, I talk a bit about that and recognizing, who you are, what you are, and what you're not.
And then that would eliminate the competition that you feel like you have, that you're, because when you're judging yourself that way, you're feeling like you've decided that you've got to compete with something, and you don't even necessarily always know what that something is, but you're comparing you to some either an image of you or an image of what you think you should be, or something, or what you've seen someone else and you think they are, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember, I play tennis. I don't play great. My husband's a good player, and my family was good. Everyone around me plays tennis. I'm not that great, and I've entered into a tournament, and I've entered into 3 tournaments, and of course I got eliminated the first round, and the second time I actually made it to the second round, and the third time I got paired up with a woman who was so great. Not only was she the best player amongst the women, she beat most of the men, and it was the best experience I ever had. I played my best tennis ever with her, because it wasn't about, like you just said, about her. I was going to be the best of my game, on top of my game that I could be. And I was splendid. You should have seen me, backhand smashes and everything, which wasn't even part of my repertoire, So, it's like, what is it that we're trying to do to comparing ourselves to others when it's actually just about being the best that we can be? And when you're willing to step up, when you're willing to say, you know what, whatever it is, I'm going to be there present 150,000% of me, and let's see who else and what else, every molecule in the universe, and who else is willing to play. And people, Shefali and Donna, people are so not used to having people present and that alive and willing to play. It's not something you encounter. So they are curious, and then they step up. That's where the miracle and the magic starts. But you've got to be there. And even if nobody else is stepping into it, you've got to be there for you, not for them, for you, for the birds, for the flowers that are trying to put on their best red or their best yellow for you, and you're walking around, oh gosh, I'm not that great, and it's like the flowers are like, hey, look at me, would you be willing to do it for the flowers so that they can say, hey, she recognized my beauty? Yeah. So I'm just it's a real interesting time to be alive, and why not be willing?
So Cass, we have about 2 minutes until it's time for break again. So I don't know how that happened so fast. But can you talk to us a little bit about what does awakening to magic and miracles mean to you? Is this what you mean about being totally present and being here 150% or 150,000%?
Yeah. Also, there's a couple of things. Yes, absolutely, everything that I've said. But also, if you're bored, ask for some magic. How can I introduce some magic into this situation? Where is the magic? And speak to the molecules. What is the one molecule that can here, present in the atmosphere, that can help me see the magic? Just asking the question, just being willing, recognizing that it is present and that you are just not inviting it. What table can I set that magic would want to come and sit at? What music can I put on? Which dance floor that magic and miracles would like to dance on? Just being willing to open your, let's call it your mind, to that. Stuff starts showing up. Try it. What can you actually gain and invite just trying it, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's wonderful, and I think that maybe during break, think about a time in your life, even if it was when you were 8 years old, it doesn't even matter, where you literally almost wondered about something or wished for something, and then it just showed up, and you felt like the most magical, powerful being on the face of the planet. My 9-year-old daughter will always say, "Of course it happened, Mom. I asked for it." So think about one of those times in your life that you asked, or you thought of somebody and they called, or something along those lines. You asked for more fun, and then you had the best day of your life. And come up with some of those during break, and we'll be with you back right after these messages from OMTimes with Cass Thomas. I'm so excited. Right, Shefali?
And also, I was just going to say before we go to break, I was going to bring the question, the phone number for people in case they would like to ask a question.
Good idea.
Because it's a brand new thing, right? So it's 1-202-570-7057. Give us a call and we'll try and get you on the air. We'll be back in a minute or two.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello! Join us, Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter, every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. Get ready to become present, clear, and unstuck, and start living fully, led by your heart. While you listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song, you'll open up to what's possible and experience your shift.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello,
so
everyone.
I hope you
are
had.
back.
So I hope you had.
Honor, like, oh my goodness.
I know we're doing a dance a little
Donna,
bit differently today. Yeah.
I know. Can you just talk about the phone number for people to call in just quickly in case they missed it when we were going on break before?
Go ahead, you say it, and then I'm going to jump into something else. I don't have it in front of me at this 10
All right.
seconds.
So the phone number for people to call in, and then this is brand new for us, so we've never done this before. So it's like we'll try it. Why not? Cass is good with going with the flow and with magical things happening on the show. So it's going to be magical when you call in and we actually get you to connect. So we'll see how that works. The phone number is 1-202-570-7057. So I just want to play the game. Let's just see how it works out. What we have to do to make that happen.
I know. Well, the radio station was not able to do it until about 2 weeks ago. So it's literally new technology for the whole entire station. It's not that we hadn't done it before, but with this particular platform, we have not done that before. So that was great. Thank you, Shefali. I appreciate that. When we were going for break, I was thinking, Cass said something about be willing to talk about to ask to play with the molecules or look at and it was an interesting thing that you brought up, because today I couldn't wait to speak to Shefali to tell her that as I was walking through, I just moved, and as I was walking through, I live across the street from this beautiful, beautiful park that's miles and miles and miles long, and I was walking through the park, walking with my dogs, and I when I'm walking, I tend to go into the state of appreciation. I don't know how to describe it, but I was, feeling like I appreciate the trees and the birds and how beautiful they are and all of that kind of stuff. And for the first time in a while, it used to happen all the time, and then it stopped for a while, but now it's happening all over again. I literally can see and hear the molecules talking back to me. So I got a thank you. I got an energetic response of gratitude and appreciation back. And I wanted to say that because I wanted everyone to get this idea that it actually is possible to communicate with molecules regardless of what they are or where they are. And it's so fun and delicious to do that I literally was skipping home and could not wait to tell that story about, wow, it's so great. I was totally connected, and I was really in it, and it was beautiful. And you could do that with people and places and nature and so much. So what would it take, Cass Thomas, for someone to awaken the ability to do that and know that they can do that? Can you talk a little bit about the awakening part?
Yeah, I love that. I love that example that you gave. To just be the invitation for magic to show up in your life. When you were talking about, we see things in a different way, and I talk about some of that in my book. When you're asking for magic to show up, where is the magic today in your life? Before we went to break, we were talking about, if you're feeling bored, ask for some magic to show up in some way. Magic is all around us. It actually is all around us. So it's a bit like uncovering the magic. And how do you do that? You just ask for it. You just are willing to entertain it in any way that it wants to show up, and not try to be invested in the outcome, we say, in access, to tell magic how it can show up. Oh, thank you so much. I didn't want to pull that rabbit out of a hat. I really wanted to pull a violin out of the hat. Now, can we just get this magic thing right the way I say it should be? You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we want to dictate, today is Tuesday. I really didn't want the magic today. I'm a bit busy today. Could you come back Wednesday, magic? And if you're coming back Wednesday, could we do it between 2 and 4? That would be really good for me because I'm free. What magic is showing up all around you that you're not willing to acknowledge? Donna was talking about her 8-year-old who said to her, of course it showed up because I asked for it. How often and I thought, as soon as you said that, I thought, do we get that it shows up because we asked for it, or do we discount it? Yeah, but I can't get the violin to come out the hat. Yeah, but you got a rabbit out of a hat. Do you want to recognize that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. And yeah. So, everywhere we're not, and that, we're laughing and we're giggling about that, but how much are we unwilling to acknowledge the beauty that is all around us and the magic that's all around us and the beauty in the every day that the planet gives us? The sunrise. Have you ever seen anything like that? Truth.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you ever been able, the sunrise, okay, good. It's different every day. It's free. every single day, it's different. But, excuse me, Horizon.
I was
I've
with
seen
you on
that
the
blue
beach
before.
I was with you on the beach in Costa Rica when we never wanted to go inside because we didn't want to miss a minute of the ocean and the sense and the beauty and the whole, it's just incredible. But what I've noticed is too, people decide or have a definition of what magic and miracles looks like. So if it doesn't show up in whatever that box is, they seem to think that it doesn't even exist, or they refuse it. So I've seen people say, well, I would love to have this. And then, I was working with a client who was going through a divorce, and when they actually said, I don't want to be divorced. That person is currently in a love that's deeper and greater and more respectful and more open and more honest with this amazing being. And, I said, well, you asked for an incredible relationship. And she said, well, I asked for it with my husband. Well, the relationship you were dreaming about and asking for was not with the person, wasn't going to happen with that person. You've got something even greater. But the perception
I've got better.
Go ahead.
I've got better. I'm in Italy. I'm in Sicily. I'm with a jazz band. I'm in Sicily. There's an American woman. She calls a guy that she knows that she's, fond of, and he comes to pick her up. And she's expecting him at 7 to pick her up for dinner. Well, I don't know if you know, the further south you go, the later dinner is. In Sicily, it's 7. It's just finishing lunch, basically. He comes at 8:30. He comes on a white horse. A white horse drawn carriage to pick her up. This is not last century. This is this was a few years ago. And she is so angry because he's late. Now, yes, but he said he's done this before. I'm like, he's got a white horse. Hello, Cinderella. Hello, Prince Charming. What is it? He's come to pick you up in a white horse. When have you ever had that in your life, So, I mean, it's just so funny. And we have this idea that it has to be hard somehow, that consciousness has to be hard, that happiness has to be hard, that our lives have to be difficult, And I've just, what if it were easy? What if you could have ease with it? What if it could be joyful, And
what
trust,
if you didn't
Cass,
have the expectations? I feel like trust has something to do with that, in the sense of, we're asking for something, and you said before something very important, I think. You said, I noticed that people don't acknowledge what they were able to create, right? So what if you actually trusted that what you did create is even greater than what you asked for, and you had that trust, knowing that it was going to be? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that changes the energy.
As long as absolutely. And as long as you're talking about trust, what if you trusted that I might be in a poo situation at the moment, but this is not going to be a chain gang situation of poo moments. This is absolutely, it's going to get better, because I'm going to talk to the molecules. I'm going to ask them questions. This is going to change. It's going to be greater. So I may be here now, but I do trust that it will change, and that is miraculous, because if you don't look forward, be willing to go beyond the moment that you're in, then what you start creating isn't magic and miracles. It's destruction.
Yeah. So what I'd love, can you tell people literally, because it's so hard to do, you keep bringing up questions, and I want to make a direct connection. I'm listening to this call. I want a taste of understanding what magic and miracles is. I want to awaken something. So, and I know nothing about this other than the fact that this call has really gotten me interested in the idea of maybe it is possible for me. What do I have to choose first in order to awaken it in my own life? We have about 3 minutes to start.
You have to choose you. You
Awesome.
have to choose you. You have to choose committing to you. That's what it is. And a lot of people, and myself included, always thought that choosing me and choosing for me was sort of selfish, and that was not, the good way, the right way to do it. But you know what? Every one of us is a really vital part of this world, this planet, and the future, the sustainable future for this planet. So if you are not taking care of you, if you are going on half empty, right? If you're not filling up your cup with water before feeding others, so that your cup runneth over and you're feeding others the fresh water that overflows, and that you have a continual source, then you're not being the contribution you can be. And sooner or later, not only are you depleted, but all those people and all that creation and magic that you could have contributed doesn't get created because you were so busy trying to help others before helping you. You know, they even say God helps those who help themselves. So you is what you have to commit to. And the questions and stuff, I'm doing, I don't know, can I say this? There's a really amazing friend of mine, Ratandeep Singh, coming over from India. Mm-hmm. And we'll be doing this easing into consciousness class. It's available online. You can also, we'll be live streaming it. It's an evening class tomorrow night, Wednesday the 7th, and all day the 8th, but you can just do the evening. And there's info on cassthomas.com about it. But it's a bit what we've been talking about, the how do you step into more ease with choosing for you and creating a life that is magical, that is miraculous, and that you recognize as such.
Yes, because what I'd love for people, not what I want, is what I'd love for people to really understand is it's not because you're special, although Cass, you are very special, I love you dearly. It is not because you've been picked by someone to have this magical energy. What you're talking about is something that is absolutely available and accessible to every single person on the planet. They actually are it, but they just have not allowed themselves to access. For some people who are asking that question about how would I start it, to access or be willing to access or whatever that is, to awaken it, to tap into it, to use it, because it's possible for everyone. It's not this component of life that only certain people have the ability to access. It's the magic and miracle of being you and choosing you, which I love that you said that you have to be willing to choose you, and you have to be willing to be in the game, I think, to acknowledge that you deliberately create your life. When you're deliberately creating. So we're going to get ready for the next break.
2 seconds. Can I say one thing for 2 seconds? And if you ask that question, how can I do it? You already have started. How can I start? You've already started. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know to ask the question.
So questions open the doors to new possibilities. And once you start going into that state of questioning and the wonder, and the question isn't how do I get a violin out of a hat necessarily, but what would it take for me to be able to, because that's control, right? The question is what would it take for me to be able to pull something out of the hat? All right, everybody, think about that during break while we listen to all the sponsors and all of the participants here at OMTimes Radio. We'll be right back with you on Living with Moxie.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Want to know some fun facts about colonoscopies? Colon cancer is 90% preventable. A colonoscopy can detect and prevent colon cancer in one fell swoop. But here's a not-so-fun fact. Lots of people are so uncomfortable even talking about a colonoscopy that they never get one. If you're 50 or 45 for African Americans, get screened now. Maybe even earlier if you have a family history. To schedule a screening today, visit StopColonCancerNow.com.
Hello, everyone. We we are back here on Living with Moxie. I'm your host, Shefali Burns, with my co-host, Donna Martouche, and today we are honored to have our special guest with us, Cass Thomas, who has been talking to us about awakening to magic and miracles in your life. And I just wanted to share really quickly with Cass and Donna, you know, when we're talking about awakening to magic and miracles, and Cass was just talking about, you know, showing up for ourselves, choosing for us, right? Growing up, I didn't know what that meant at all. You know, I never chose for myself. I did what everybody else wanted me to do. You know, I was the good girl. And funny, I'm still a good girl, but you know what I mean. But, you know, over the past 5-6
Tell us
years,
more.
I really, more so. But over the past 5-6 years, I really started choosing for me, right? And I didn't, you know, and what that means for you. And I'll be honest, my life has been truly miraculous and magical since I started choosing for me. And, you know, that's one of the tools, one of the magical things that I wish people would get is that what is, you know, what lights you up, you know, what brings you joy, what makes you feel more expansive and more light. Follow that energy, do that. So, I mean, I've shared my experiences before on this show as well as on my other shows. But Cass, can you share with us a little bit about some examples from your own life where your life has truly become so magical because you're choosing for you and you're sharing that experience with others so that they can start to choose, giving them permission, really, to choose. And I think that's what I'm doing with my family and my friends is like showing them how truly magnificent it can be when you choose for yourself. And now they have that permission that, hey, she's doing it. Maybe I can too, because I'll be honest, this was not something I was shown in my life at all before. So can you share with us a few examples of how you have chosen for you and created magic and miracles in your life so that we, lay people, can really get that feeling as well?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's like where to start. What comes to me to talk about is not buying what other people, how other people say you should live your life. If I sometimes, Shefali, don't even tell people the amount of things I have going on, the amount of projects I have going on. This little book I wrote, for example, The 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, should have never been written had I been leading my life in any organized, orderly way, because that came out when I was at the beach for a month working on my book that is coming out shortly called Dancing with Riches. Every morning I would get up in an orderly fashion and start writing and working. And all of a sudden this book knocks on my door. And I almost was like hiding it from people that I wasn't completing this 2-year project book, that I actually had started another one, you know. But I was being true to me. It was so clear, you know. It was so clear that it wanted to come through. And I did it, and it's actually it's changing my life, changing people's lives. It's the smallest book ever written. It's like it takes you 25 minutes to read it, maybe 45 maximum, and it's in 8 languages already, and it's so simple but not stupid. It really anyone can access it. It's really simple. Simple concepts and simple, what can you say, invitations to play with these ways of finding magic that anyone can access. So when you ask, can you give some examples of how creating magic and miracles in my life is really following what resonates with me. And thanks for asking that question. I thought that was the question you wanted me to answer. I ask people that question a lot in my classes and stuff. What is vital to you? It's such a gift to ask someone that question because nobody actually asks you that. Nobody actually gets you thinking about that. And certainly we don't ask ourselves that. It's like we're almost embarrassed to say what it is that brings us joy. Oh, well, you know, as long as the family is happy and, you know, my children and my wife and, you know, my husband and you know what I mean? And, you know, I'd like to do something for the elderly and I'd like to do something for the children that are starving around the world.
I do.
You know, it's like this whole long list. What is it that brings you joy? Now it may bring you joy to do for them.
When we were in Costa Rica, Dane asked me what brings you joy, and I cried, like literally, because I was dumbfounded, and I couldn't even access an answer. It was like a question that no one ever asked me before, and I've never asked myself. I went blank, and I felt stupid for going blank. Like I didn't know. It was just I didn't even know I had that choice, or that thought never even existed.
Yeah, so exactly. Exactly.
It was interesting for me. It was overwhelming for me at that moment, or whatever you would want to put to it. I literally cried. So I only bring that up because you said it's vital and it's such a gift. The question is a gift because it also has people all of a sudden go, oh, wow, I get to even choose that.
And for one moment, you're connected with you. And joy is a vibration that exists on the planet, right? So when if someone asks you what's vital to you, and that's like what makes your heart sing? Vitality. It's not only what keeps you alive, breathing, heart beating. What makes it sing? What gives you that vibration of joy, which connects to every organism and molecule on the planet? And that's when you say it's overwhelming. It was probably all-consuming, because so when you are connecting with that, when you actually contemplate that, and you're willing to have more of that in your life, then the magic shows up all around you, and it can be humbling and at the same time empowering. And that's what that's the special. And the way you are humbled and empowered and potent and joyful. And look at this birdie just sat right on the. I wish I could show you. You see that? We're talking about that. We're talking about joy, and this little birdie just comes and sits on the ledge with me. Try it. I just want to say that, Donna, I'll go quick. Donna, you were talking about going out in nature. I was walking in the UK in England and in the countryside, and I was walking and I was like, I don't hear any birds. There should be birds around, shouldn't there? I mean, I'm a big city girl, but I know in the countryside there should be birds. Hey, birds, where are you? Are you here? Are you around? And slowly they started chirping. Yeah, so what invitation can you be to the magic and the miracles to waken up, to enliven and light up for you and everyone around you? That's just awesome. And I hope you guys will join me in Ratan Deep tomorrow night. Certainly we'll send you the information about it for the easing into consciousness. It's just about, being you with ease in every part of your life. It really is. And it's online. You can watch it live.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it sounds awesome. And for those of you who would like to know more about Cass Thomas in general, she has her own website. It's cassthomas.com, correct?
Yes, KASSTHOMAS. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
.com, and she has a great class coming, and a book that's out, and some more coming out. I actually was already in one with you, and possibly more in the future. Who knows? So very excited for all that you're creating. And if you could just listen to the tone and the way that which Cass talks, in her voice, and the way that she shares the information, it's just truly how Cass is in every space that I've ever seen her in the years that I've had the ability to connect with her. It's just incredible. And it's something that you can be or choose not to be like her, but to have more ease with being you. Because I think that's part of why, Cass, it's so easy for you to connect with others, is your willingness to be vulnerable in their presence and to be you. It's not like you shift into somebody else because someone has walked into the room and you're trying to meet their expectation. And you're very comfortable being Cass. So I remember that when we met, you were doing a class, The Art of Being Cass, I think it was actually called, right? And it doesn't surprise
it's actually my Facebook page. It's my Facebook fan page, The Art of Being Cass. Yeah.
Which is incredible. And it's because that is what you do. You are you in the most amazing way, and and you're willing to, that vulnerability that a lot of people try to avoid, I think helps with allowing the magic to come in, allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to be connected. Did I miss anything there?
Yeah, and you were saying going with the flow. When you program something, there's no way that the magic can be at its maximum because you're not taking into consideration what's going to show up in that moment. It just reminds me of our roommate days in Costa Rica. We shared the room for 5 or 7 days, I don't know, together. So I really appreciate your putting into words that energy, Donna. That's lovely.
Oh, I'm really grateful to be able to do it in all honesty, and it's so easy to do because it's just not like, one of the things Shefali and I decided when we were doing the show is we were only going to have people who we just really think
we like.
No. It's not about like. It's about that can help people live. Living with Moxie. You asked. Living with Moxie is about living life to another level, and to do that, you have to be you. And we want people who truly exemplify what they're teaching. I don't even have to agree with what you're teaching, but you are what you're saying to people in the world, and you are being it, even when it's hard, because there's times it's hard, and even Cass Thomas has a bad moment, it's just, and so you don't ever pretend to be something that you're not, and you are the invitation to invite others to this other step, and we want people to see that it's possible to be vulnerable, to be traveling around the world, or to be living for choosing you, and and you're creating more by choosing you and choosing the things that you love, and I think you exemplify it every day when you're interacting with people, and that's really what we wanted to have. It's sort of authenticity, I think, is the word that we might want to put there.
Yeah, and how do you have ease even when it's not easy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And keep being you. You were saying, you're comfortable being you, and even when that being me is an uncomfortable moment. So thank you guys so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Cass.
you.
And it's been a wonderful show with Cass, with Donna, and I. And we will see you all again next week as we continue to live with Moxie here on OMTimes Radio. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us.